to cancer treatment in Kenya has been made even more difficult by the coronavirus pandemic. My colleague Trix Ingado is next with a story that sheds light on the complexities of seeking cancer treatment in the middle of a health sector crisis and the warriors who still choose to go to battle even if the odds are heavily against them.
For many who have been diagnosed with cancer, 2020 and 2021 have not been easy. They have to face a harsh economic climate, even harsher treatment regimens, a virus that has many afraid to go into hospitals and get the treatment they need to survive, if that is, they can afford it. Today we lift the veil and give you a peek behind the curtains on how it's like to survive coronavirus times while battling cancer. It's 8 a.m. at the Wafula household. And like any other home, the matriarch is busy preparing breakfast. Today we are having tea, eggs and a healthy serving of smoothies. Jacinta ticks off one task after the other, occasionally turning her attention to her last-born, a hungry Nehemiah, who wanders into the kitchen every now and then to check on progress. At a glance, it seems like a typical Kenyan household on a Saturday morning. However, there hangs a very dark cloud over this family. Jacinta is a stage 4 breast cancer patient. She got the diagnosis in the year 2017. Nehemiah was only 5 months old. A devastating diagnosis that saw her halt breastfeeding and bonding with her son.
Wow. Hey, first of all, me I'm very hardworking lady. Mi sio wale watu wa kukaa wanangoja ati kuletewa ama kupewa ama ati uko tu just there. Mimi ni wale wazee. So despite kugojeka, surgeries, because nimeshafanywa surgery, like 2 surgeries. Despite surgeries nini, hata I used to come from the hospital. I came from the hospital na kuja napata watoto wangu wako hapa sasa hivi niko na pipe kwa mwili. Naingia kwa kitchen kama nimeshikilia hivi, the dam is draining. Nawapikia because zingine husband hayuko kwa job, niko peke yangu, sina house girl. Actually na nikakwambia ukweli, unbelievable story. There was a time I didn't have a house girl na nilikuwa ada kimo. Nilikuwa naishi na my nephew. Gosh. Enye mtu pitia sawa. Nilikuwa nakaa na my nephew. So nikienda kimo, my son was small. Alikuwa tu bado mtoto. So nikienda kimo na naambia my nephew, wewe utakaa na mtoto. So mimi naenda tu. You know, kimo take like between 6 to 8 hours. Nitaenda tu, nitakaa huko atu jioni. After kimo, anakuja jioni. Yani kimo inanipeleka vio na diarrhea na vomit, but lazima nigikia kwa kitchen nipikie watoto wangu au kwa na otherwise hata na sina nguvu na wapikia tu. And you know when ukikuja kutoka kimo haitaki moto mingi. So my nephew alikuwa ananikalisha na mtoto, alikuwa anakaa na mtoto sana. So as a woman, mimi hufanya kila kitu. It doesn't stop. Despite hizo mashida zote. So mimi huamka, napikia watoto wangu breakfast, namtayarisha, anaenda shule like normal days. Nikiamka asubuhi ni breakfast. Mimi ndio hujitengenezea food zangu kama hizo majuice, najipikia za uji. Na bado na try tu, naweza toka hata kimo na mimi nilipata niko tao kutafuta namna. Nienda kutafuta tu biashara tu naweza fanya. So mimi sijai stop. Na kuanga tu busy, but sio kutaka. Sina otherwise. Yeah. So that's why my sister ali come up. Wakaona this time, hey, wacha hata sisi tumsaidie. So aishi na mimi. Sasa since akuje, at least nimepata time ya kujipatia nini. Okay. Yeah.
Sasa wakati ameenda hospitali na akikuja hiyo matime anakuaga weak, very weak. Sasa zingine hajiwezi hata chakula, saa zingine anatapika, saa zingine haizi hata tembea hata kwa choo vizuri. Sasa hiyo wakati kama hiyo ndio unakuwa na kazi, at least unamtoa kwa bed, unampeleka hata kama ni choo unamshikilia. Kuoga pia anakuwa ni stress, kukunywa dawa saa zingine. Sasa hiyo anaenda kila siku hiyo wakati wa kimu. Kuna siku kadhaa anaendaga kuna daktari kila siku shindano juu ya immunity.
Soon after treatment, the harsh effects became apparent.
So mi utembea na hii kitambaa, niko na mob, niko na wig, but sometimes wig zimenichokesha. So this time nilisema wacha tu nikuwe nafunga kitambaa. But as the time goes, nataka kuchange. Nataka nitembeange hivi, nivae pink earring, nivae mask ya pink na kofia ya pink. To represent those has breast cancer. Yeah, I just want to become as a warrior, as a victor. Na najua nitashinda. I shall overcome this. Yes. So me always I'm positive.
Far from the harsh effects, the treatment options that were to follow the double mastectomy she got required consistency to boost chances of survival. A staccato approach is not effective and will not do.
Bado niko supposed kukula vizuri, to have a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, but wakati nini ilikuja hiyo COVID, saa hata mimi nikaacha kuwa na diet mzuri. So nikaanza kukula like normal person. But si ati kutaka, ni vile hatuna. So kukaa hiyo 2019, hiyo time ya COVID, tuko hapo na pale. Sasa jobs tumeacha kufanya kazi. Biashara zimeenda down. Sasa hakuna client, sasa ni kukaa tu. So hakuna pesa. So hata nataka kwenda hosi, sina uwezo. Alafu my NHIF zote zilikuwa zimeisha. So ndikuwa na goza year of government 2020 June. Unfortunately, my nini ikalika before plans hiyo NHIF yangu na husband. So sasa hiyo ndio imekuwa tukitumia. But sasa ikafika mahali imefika mwisho. Hatuna sasa uwezo mwingine.
Umefika umbali gani kwa treatment?
Sasa now like hii month niko nafai kupata dawa on 4th. But sasa sijapata because hatujapata do. Hii pesa ndio nafai kwenda nayo. Hata Friday nilikuwa hosi. Sasa hii pesa ndio wanataka but hatujafikisha for now. So my treatment ilikuwa on 4th. Sasa hii mwezi inaisha. Bado sijakunywa hata anything, sijapata hata anything. So sasa hapo ndio tumefika. Niko bado kwa kimonomo na ninapata hiyo bado hormonio. Okay. One injection is 100,000 kwa hiyo Herceptin every month. Na nimeandikiwa 18 injection. Niko 4 na ziko 18 na moja ni 100,000 as you see here. 100,000 every month. Despite hiyo Herceptin, kuna a lot of so many hapo katikati. Juzi nimeenda nikafanywa hizo chest x-ray, CT scan na bado NHIF yangu imeisha but sasa tulitumia moja kufanya hizo test. Hapo katikati kuna test za blood like me juu ya lungs wanakaa wakiangalia vile inaenda. Sasa kuna lazima nione daktari wa x-ray wa chest na naona daktari wawili maybe kwa siku. So kwa siku naweza enda na karibu na 15,000 cash. Hiyo ni out of, haina insurance, haina nini, ni cash. Ndio niweze kuona daktari. I was strong knowing that Mungu atasimama na mimi. Haikuwa rahisi kwa sababu sikuwa na breath.
Okay.
Nilikuwa na breath na hii. I used to breathe with this. Niki-breathe na hii because lungs zilikuwa zimecollapse. Haikuwa inapanda. Ilikuwa inapanda like hapo. So meaning lungs zilikuwa haitoi any pumps. But ukakaa after kucontinue nikaanza kubadilisha.
So this is after
Sasa sasa niko under treatment. Sasa niko kwa chemo. Sasa before sasa ndio niende hosi after imelika. Sasa hii hata nikiendelea na treatment nimekuwa tu na hizo shida ya breathing. But as much I continue na treatment inaenda ikiheel na ikikubali. So nimetumia like 2 months non-stop. Kwa sasa hata nikilala niko nalala kama nimekaa chini. Nikilala flat nashidwa nini inaenda, oxygen inaenda.
Even help from family and friends has not been enough, with many well-meaning friends stretching themselves thin and quickly getting fatigued. But in the face of this nightmare, Jacinta maintains a brave face, to the extent of comforting petrified friends and family when the situation seems too bleak.
I'm happy woman, despite expenses na kukosa finance. But the most important thing na be a God, because nataka I want to be healed completely. Atupatie finance, because without finance hatuwezi access hospital. Hakuna uwezi. So mimi naomba tu God tu afungue njia, atupatie tu finance, because me I'm ready to fight it. By the way, actually sijai lose hope. Hata ikikuwa gumu nitakuonyesha picha za hii time nilikuwa hospital, utashangaa. I was in a very much pain. Hakuna mtu alikuwa anawezana na hiyo pain. Even the people walikuwa wamesema huyu amefika mwisho, anakufa, haezi baki. But nika fight it, nikatoka kwa ward. So tashida, Mungu ni mwema. So mimi utembea na kitaba yangu ya hata kama sina nywele na kwanga tu niko happy hata kwa nyumba.
Ukimwona tabla yuko, you cannot imagine ako hivyo. You see how strong she is. She's very strong. So it is actually me that it hit so hard hata kumshinda ya mwenyewe. So at times we used tunakaa hata when she was receiving chemo, ananiambia we relax, because she was seeing mimi ni kama I'm the one who is totally hit now kabisa, as if I'm the patient now. So yeah, first of all I would also like to thank her kwa sababu she's been a very great pillar, especially for me, because wakati ilikuwa inaanza, it's not easy. And what people don't understand is when you have such a situation in kwa familia, especially for us men, you know, it hits us, but watu wajuagi, watu waonagi, unajua watu wanaangalia pande moja nini, but what people don't understand, concentration unajua inaendaga one side. So leaving this other person pia mfani amechanganyikiwa, because hii kitu ikiwa mpya, you know, as time goes ndio you digest vitu vile ziko, and then you tend to anza ku accept as things kwa that position ya ku understand the whole thing, uko affected na hiyo kitu, both wewe kama mgonjwa ama maybe spouse, family. Hiyo kitu, it hits you so bad, because most of the time, you know, cancer, watu wana associate vibaya na death, nini, and then there's the stigma. Tapata at times like neighbors wanaona ni kama sasa nyinyi mtaanza kuwa mzigo. We've had friends wametutoka. We've had friends ambao tumesukumana, but it reaches a point watu wanaanza kufanya nini, wanaanza kujitoa pole pole, but you know, it's life. So kuati kila mtu akona maisha yake basically. So hata musema I thank God when wakiwa on this treatment, basically, you know, everything revolves around them. You need to really take care. You need to be very, as in, how do I even put it? Najua sasa imeanza kureflect vitu za kitambo sasa. It's really hard kwa sababu at times ningekaa hata peke yangu sasa nini. Maybe unajua it's very hard upate mwanaume analia. So sometimes nilikuwa naweza poa peke yangu. Even my colleagues at work. Immediately this thing happened, unajua I had to share. So sometimes ungenipata hata niko peke yangu. Sometimes nahepa hata naenda kwa parking, nakaa tu kwa dinga za job. Then somehow unajipata tu nimelia. So I end up asking God, sasa, why us? No. Okay, I'm not saying the government is not being supportive, but I think they should be doing more with things like cancer, generally all types of cancers. Yeah, they really need to invest a lot in this kind of area, because sometimes it hurts. It really hurts us. Ukisikia sometimes wanasema machine ziko, but they are not working. Mara sijui things, it's like things were never purchased or something. And not that I'm blaming the government or anything, but I think they need to do more. Like ukisikia all these scandals zinafanyika in the health sector, you wonder.
The family of 4 often turns to their love of football as a distraction from the harsh reality that has taken up residence in their small apartment. Not far from their home, Jacinta's brother opens their salon. He takes charge of it when he can, but it is impossible to bring it back to full capacity when his own business is pulling him away.
Saa zile siko busy kwenye niko na bidigi nikuja hapa hivi cause najua akibukiwa na client hataweza kumtegemeza. So nabidi nijaribu kukua karibu, angalau akibukiwa na client nitamtegenezea client wake.
Okay. Yeah. So unafanya hapa alafu pia unakimbia kwa yako kufanya.
Yeah. So okay, most kazi yetu ni wakati uko na client. Yeah. Unaona. So nikiwa na client kwenye nikuwa na client naenda kuko kumtegeneza, but nikimaliza then nakuja. But unajua kama ako hapa hivi, ile time walikuanga hapa hivi sikuanga nakuja hapa hivi, unaona. Yeah. In fact biashara imekuwa biashara haijakuwa mzuri cause pia watu walikuwa naogopa kuja. So in fact hata alikuwa na cosmetic hapa hivi ikabidi afunge. So in fact wakati wa corona ndio imekuwa mgumu sana kwake, but tunashukuru Mungu kuna watu tu walikuwa na roho mzuri, wanakuja nyumbani kumtembelea, angalau wanamletea food. Yeah. In fact, another advice, wale watu wako na mgonjwa wa cancer wakuwe karibu sana na yeye, because kawaida huyu ugonjwa ile kitu inakuanga kwa mind mostly, cause hata venye tunasikianga mtu alikuwa na ugonjwa ya cancer, maybe hakupona, so kuna hiyo mafikiria ni kama nitakufa. Unaona? Okay, since pia wewe ni binadamu na unaweza uko na hiyo ugonjwa, na kawaida kuna venye watu wanaongeanga huko nje. So mimi naambianga tu, if kama kwa familia wako na mtu wa cancer, wakuwe karibu sana na yeye, wakuwe wanamtembelea, wajaribu kumtembelea, kumuongelesha, juu huyo mtu asikuwe yani peke yake. Because hiyo kitu ya kumtembelea, kumuongelesha huwa inasaidia sana. Asijione kama ako rejected.
On occasion, and when she's feeling up to it, she dresses up and steps out in style, refusing to be held back by her circumstances. The pink outfit, symbolic. Today, she joins other cancer patients who have convened at the Holy Family Basilica. Such gatherings offer much-needed social support and occasional programs that help cancer patients meet various needs, ranging from grocery shoppings to menacing medical bills. It is here that we meet another cancer patient befuddled by 3 weeks' worth of medical bills. She too has no way of keeping up with the costs.
Na kutoka last year November nilijulikana niko na ugonjwa, na sasa nimekuwa nikitibiwa kwa hospitali ya Kenyatta. Na kutoka mwezi wa 7 nilikuwa natumia kadi ya NHIF, lakini ikabidi wakasema pesa yangu imeisha kwa kadi. Sasa ikanibidi niwe na lipa after 3 weeks, nalipa 1,403.
With NHIF provisions running out while treatment regimens are barely quarter way, many local women turn to small NGOs and women groups. Jane Francis Njoki is a founding member of the Cancer Information Support Network and Communications, as well as the Cancer Survivor Association of Kenya. Having survived breast cancer herself, she tells us about the huge gaps in the care of people battling cancer in Kenya.
My doctor had told me I have a very aggressive cancer and it was very advanced. It was stage 3B, and he told me that I would only survive if I stopped what I was doing. But when now you are told you have cancer, and it was a Tuesday, and I was told if you don't start chemo on Friday, I was going to have very few chances of survival. So it was a big shock to me. Being at the age of 48, I felt that life was just beginning. You know, they say life begins at 40. And then here I'm being told I have cancer, and I'm being told if you don't do chemo in 3 days, it will reach stage 4, and there's nothing we can do for you. So he told me to write a letter to the university and ask leave of absence so that I could concentrate in the treatment for at least 5 years. And then if I survived, I'd go back. So last year, at the beginning, I went back to register at the university to go back because I had completed 6 years. But then COVID came. And I had now made friends with many cancer survivors through Cancer Information Support Network. It is a platform I started from the first year that I was diagnosed of going to give psychosocial support to cancer patients. Thank God I am big, I am healthy, and even after every chemo, because of the support of my late mother, my family, my siblings, and even friends, my classmates, my church, I was able to go through the treatment despite the expenses. It became so much easier for me and to survive and not go to stage 4. And generally, cancer treatment is expensive. In a private hospital, it could be anything 3 million and above. In a government hospital, it could be 1,150,000. But when now it is Herceptin, it becomes more complicated. I think in NHIF, this would be my recommendation. It would be fair. The way they did HIV/AIDS, to consider that cancer today is a national disaster and many people are sick, just to increase whatever amount they allocate for cancer. And that it's not just NHIF, even the government, even the Ministry of Health, in their budgetary allocation, to allocate much more for. When you start the treatment and then you stop, you see the cancer cells keep growing. It's a tumor in your body, because what is cancer? Is a cell that has misbehaved in your body, and therefore without the treatment to shrink it, you stop that treatment, it will continue growing, and then what will happen? It will metastasize, it will spread to other parts of your body, from your primary to other secondary areas. So that is what happens with Herceptin patients or triple negative patients or any other patient that starts cancer treatment and then has to start again. The period that you are not doing it, the cancer is still there and it's growing. So for the government to ensure that this doesn't happen, and even, for example, I hear Herceptin is from a company called Roche. If they could partner, I think there is a time they had partnered with K&H, and people who couldn't afford were getting it either free or at a reasonable price. So if the government could partner with this company or other companies producing that drug, that would make it much easier for these patients.
You see, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, that has been the priority of most hospitals. So many survivors of cancer have feared to go to hospital because they are very vulnerable and their immunity is very down. So many of them have stayed at home and not gone for their usual treatment for fear of getting infected with other diseases, especially COVID. Others, because of the impact of the COVID and their businesses, they've been unable to raise the funds to go to hospital. So they've had their own way of self-medicating at home, which is usually very difficult for a cancer survivor because everyone has a special treatment that is very specific to them. So those who have been able to go have had now the challenge of can they afford the medical treatment? The oncologist there for them, and are they prioritizing them? So they've had that challenge in terms of accessing those facilities. Then of course there are those facilities where the doctors are on strike. So even just getting attention to focus on your situation has been very difficult for them. But the biggest fear has been going to hospital and fearing that you would get other infections. Because when you are a survivor of cancer or you're going through treatment, your immunity is very low, so you have to be very, very careful.
Many of the women here have to juggle the pain of their treatment regimens, finding funds to deal with the psychological effects and the mental stress caused by it all. They, however, band together and find strength in numbers, strength that will help them get through another difficult day. Trix Ingado for Morning Express.
Trix Ingado brings us to a close here on Bottomline Africa. Thank you for watching. My name is Michelle Ngele Obiambo. Let's now leave you with our images of the day. We're in a temple on the outskirts of Bangkok. Participants at a daily ritual clutch a bunch of flowers and lie down in a coffin with a sheet pulled over them as monks chant. It is called the Wat Bangnanai Temple in the Thai capital, drawing more than 100 people a day who choose to perform the ceremony in the hope it can improve their fortunes or give them a fresh start in life. And those images, followed by the proverb of the day, bring us to a close today. Many thanks for watching. Good afternoon.